Well, hello geometers and seekers of general truths. In this video, we will look at a slightly different example that uses the midpoint formula, or that uses midpoints in general. So again, I've written the midpoint formula here on the left side so that you can see it and we can refer to it. And let's walk through this problem slowly. M is the midpoint of line segment AB. Okay, so M is the midpoint here. If M has coordinates 2, 5, and A has coordinates 7, 12, what are the coordinates of B? So the first thing I've done in this problem is drawn my XY coordinate plane and plotted the graph here. You'll note here that my scale is 1 to 2. So my X, each one of these tick marks along the x-axis is 1 unit, but along the y-axis it's 2 units. So this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That's where we put point A. So we go 7 to the right and 12 up. Okay. M here has a coordinate of 2, 5, so 2 to the right and 5 units up. Okay, so I plotted those points. Now note here, this formula helps, but it's a very common problem for people to do is just to plug 2, 7, 5, 12 under this formula. That would be wrong because we're told the midpoint. We already know the midpoint, okay? We're not asked to find the midpoint again. We already know the midpoint. It's this blue dot right here. What we're asked to find is the other point. So it's kind of like AB is some line segment and we found its midpoint and it's M. So B is actually over here somewhere, right? So you can imagine like it's roughly in the general region over here. And what we're asked to do is find the exact location of this point, okay? So it's not quite what we had before. Right? So what we're going to have to do here is a little bit different, right? So we're going to have to set up two equations, okay? So we're going to use two equations. This is the first equation that we're going to use, and then whoops, that kind of messed up my writing there. Let's try this again. So this right here is going to be the first equation that we use, and then this in blue here is going to be the second equation that we're going to use. And again, when we're talking about the coordinates, we're looking for two numbers, the x coordinate and the y coordinate. Okay, so let's just call B here. Let's just say that the x coordinate is represented by x and the y coordinate is represented by y. Okay. So one thing we do know is that if we were to take the coordinates of B, the x coordinate of B, and add it to the x coordinate of A, which in this case is 7, and we were to divide it by 2, we should get the x coordinate of the midpoint, which in this case is 2. Okay. Right, so this is the first equation that we're going to solve. So we solve this, multiply both sides by 2, we get x plus 7 is equal to 4. Subtract 7 from both sides and we get that x is equal to negative 3. Okay? So that gives us the x coordinate for point B. And then we're going to do the same thing but with the y coordinate. So the y coordinate of B, if we were to take that, apply this formula, add it to the y coordinate of A, which is 12, and divide that by 2, we would get the y coordinate of the midpoint here, which in this case is 5. So multiply both sides by 2, and we get y plus 12 equals 10. Y plus 12 is equal to 10. And then subtract 10 from both sides, subtract 12 from both sides, and we get that y is equal to negative 2. So our answer is that B has a coordinate of negative 3, negative 2. Which seems reasonable. It's roughly in this region, right? So we have to go, and my estimate here wasn't exactly spot on, but it should be over here somewhere. Relative, it should be like left and down. Relative to point A and point M. All right. So if we look at these two examples, in this example in its full context, is we're still using the midpoint formula, but we're using it in a different way. That what's known, what's given to us, and what we're asked to solve is a little bit different than what we did in the previous examples. All right, so all of these questions, all of this work with analytical geometry involves us to think about this graphically. If you can't visualize this in your head, that's okay. I highly recommend you write this down and put these points and dots and images onto paper, on graph paper, as accurately as you possibly can, and then work through it from there. All right. As always, ask questions if you need it. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.